Hello my friends, I hope you are having a fabulous day. I'm doing a kitchen clean out. Specifically, I'm cleaning out some of my old bakeware because I just received a few weeks ago my Caraway Home bakeware. And I'm going to tell you what I've used so far out of all of this and tell you why it prompted me to just do a total clean out. So I want to specify the difference between cookware and bakeware. You all, I'm sure, know this. Cookware is what you use for the stovetop. Eggs, browning meat, sauteing vegetables. So I have already shared that I have totally moved to Caraway Home cookware because there are zero dangerous chemicals, zero, and because it truly is nonstick. And the test or the gold standard are eggs. I have done omelets. I've shared this on my Instagram. I've done an omelet and my omelets are loaded. I put veggies, I put cheese, and I put zero oil and it did not stick one bit. So that is why I'm totally moving to Caraway Home cookware. The bakeware, as I said, I got it after, so I've only had it a few weeks, and I want to tell you my experience. Okay, I already have these tucked away because I have used and washed them, but this is the cookie sheet or baking sheet, and I used this Tuesday night to bake cookies. They were Ballerina Farm frozen chocolate chip cookies made with sourdough starter. They were fabulous. Y'all should try them. I'll link to them. I think I may have a discount code as well. You all know and follow Ballerina Farm, I'm sure. They have a big farm where they make everything and you can buy some of their products. So I had some Ballerina Farm frozen cookie dough balls and I pulled out my Caraway Home baking sheet and I put the cookies directly on the sheet. I did not put one bit of oil or cooking spray, and Caraway Home recommends that you don't put anything. Put them in the oven, and when they were done, they had, spread out. They were gooey, yummy. I let them cool. I could actually move the cookies around with my fingers or with a spatula. There was not one bit of baked on, sticky anything. Immediately, I said, this is the bakeware I'm going to exclusively use. I'm getting rid of everything else. And I also think it's pretty. And I'm at the stage in my life, I'm almost 60, where I want to do a clean out and I would like to have one brand that I love and trust, and I don't have to start scouring Amazon or Williams-Sonoma for the newest, latest. I know what I love. I know what I'm using as far as cookware and bakeware. That's a great thing too. It makes me feel more organized. I'm going to do a sheet pan dinner with some shrimp and veggies, and then I'm also going to try some sheet pan nachos. So I will report to you all as to how that turns out, but I know it's gonna be great because cookies are similar to eggs as far as a test of non-stick. I was sold. Okay, and then here is the bread pan or loaf pan. I did pumpkin bread in this pan and I split the batter and I put half of the pumpkin bread in this loaf pan, and then I put the other half of the batter in these muffin pans, Caraway Home. And the reason I did both is I wanted to test both because muffins, before Caraway Home, I have never had a truly non-stick muffin pan. Never. And I have resorted so many times with my older muffin pans to using the parchment muffin cups or just the paper muffin cups. And even then, that little bits of the batter will get on top and they bake on. They're hard to get off and your muffin pan looks horrible. So I wanted to test this along with this with the same batter. So it was pumpkin bread batter, which pumpkin bread is a pumpkin muffin if you use this, and it's pumpkin bread if you put it in this. Not one baked on anything. The muffins, I let them cool, and I literally turned the pan over. They all fell out. I just wiped this up with a paper towel. There was nothing. Didn't spray it, did nothing. Same with this. So, because of this, I'm clearing out my old bakeware. But first I want to show you what I'm putting up in my, I have slats where I put all of my bakeware. It's above the oven. I have a double oven. It's similar to this, but they're built in when I did my kitchen redo. So I'm gonna be putting everything up there. But I want to show you, for those of you who may not have the space or the dividers in your kitchen, look at how Caraway Home sends you their bakeware. I think this is wonderful. This would be great for a dorm room apartment or a smaller apartment where you just don't have the storage space. I just think this is lovely. But because I do have the space, I don't need this. I think I'm going to give this to one of my daughters if they need it. Or we could take these to the farm. But you could do many things with this. You could store tools, a lot of things, but very sturdy, very easy organizer if you need it for your cookware. So here are 2 cake pans. This is a standard size cake layer. So there are 2. If you want a taller layer cake, of course you could just order more. Typically if I make a layer cake of this size, I just use 2 because I think if you make more layers with a standard cake mix or cake recipe, you have to go smaller if you want to go taller, because this is what a recipe fits, 2 standard layers. So this will handle any standard layer cake. And this can also be used to do cinnamon rolls. You can buy those from the store. You can make your own. You can put yeast rolls, or at the grocery, you can now get yeast roll dough. Put those in here and they would rise beautifully. So there are a lot of other things you can do with that besides just a cake, okay? Then there is just a smaller baking sheet when you don't need the big one. Just baking maybe 3 or 4 cookies, or you're doing something like a 1 to 2 person sheet pan meal. This is perfect. Here is the square bake pan. This is perfect for brownies. Typically you want to make brownies in a square baking dish because they're easier to cut. You could do a cobbler in this, you could do a crisp. There's so many things you could use this for, but it's just square as opposed to round. So I have this. Last but not least, this is just a casserole dish. You can make any casserole that you would make. I have a chicken tetrazzini and a baked ziti. You can make anything in here that you would use a casserole dish for, and it's got the handles, which that's very, very handy when you're transporting. So love all of this, and I'm gonna be putting it up in my storage area. So I wanna show you what I'm getting rid of. It feels so good to clean out, guys. This stuff, when I was digging in all of my storage, I thought, my goodness, I haven't checked on all my things. Things have piled up. I'll show you what I'm getting rid of. These, oh shoot. That was crazy. Okay, I think we're good now. And I'll show you some things that I am now getting rid of or giving away because I don't need it. I do have a casserole dish, so I don't need this one anymore. This one is a bear to clean. This is glass or porcelain, I'm not sure. And this is just from Sophia Home. I think this was from Walmart. I mean, it'll bake well, but it will bake on, stick on, so none of that anymore. So I'm gonna get rid of this. I cannot wait to get rid of this. This, I don't know which brand this is, but this is one that was supposed to be nonstick, and I spend 10 minutes every time I've used this scraping off those bits of baked on burnt batter dough. So this is gone. I do not know where on earth these came from. These are the oddest things I've ever seen. I did use these once to make muffins. I think the purpose behind these was supposed to be that you can do that to get the muffins out easily. These were not useful at all. I don't know why I still have them. I think I still have them because I thought one day when I had grandchildren I would put paint in them, but now I have 2 grandchildren and I realized that that's not gonna happen. We'll be playing, doing other things. I don't need to keep these for a what if because they're taking up space and they're not good for what they're intended for, muffins. I think this was a dirty Santa gift, It's a very nice brand. You can get this at boutiques. I want to say it's Pampa Bay, Pampas Bay, and it's lovely. But here's the problem. When you bake a bread in this, it's not going to be pretty. You're going to have spatters, and it's hard to clean something that bread is sitting in. And the purpose of this was a pretty presentation, and it's just almost impossible, or at least for me, to bake bread without having mess on the sides. So this is just not practical. So I'm getting rid of this. Look at this. So, and this is definitely not nonstick like Caraway. These USA bake pans, I am going to keep these, and here's why. I only have one of the loaf pans for bread, and I do use these for potato flake, sourdough. So these are fine, and it's okay to sometimes have to clean something out. There you have it. Out with the old, in with the new. And if any of you have any feedback, I would love to hear your experience. I'd love to hear your opinions. I do have a Caraway discount code, and I will share that below. But I hope that this was helpful, and as always, until next time, be blessed and stay savvy.